There have been plenty of studies done that have determined that there is a deterrent quality to the death penalty. I mean, even common sense will lead you to understand the difference between crime and consequence. That if you have an extreme consequence for a particular crime, that you're less likely to find somebody moving into that direction. And I think that the numbers will show as well that when executions are up, murders, capital murders the next year are down. There's a guy named John Gardner. John Gardner murdered 2 girls down in Southern California a few years ago. The first one was named Amber Dubois. She was a 14-year-old girl who disappeared walking to school. The second one was a high school junior named Chelsea King, who was murdered while she was taking a run after school one day. And they were able to arrest John Gardner for Chelsea King's murder, and still nobody knew what had happened to Amber Dubois. They were charging him with death. They were charging John Gardner with a death sentence, or with the potential of death sentence. And he went to the prosecutor and said, if you take death off the table, I'll tell you where Amber Dubois is. That was an instance where the death penalty, simply being used as a tool, helped to recover a girl who otherwise, and I can assure you of this, never would have been found. This whole idea that they're going to save all of this money by taking the death row inmates and putting them in a general population where they then will have to work to pay restitution. Number one, it's already the law that prisoners have to work to pay restitution, but the idea that the Night Stalker or Richard Allen Davis is going to find themselves in a general population is absurd. These people are they're in single cells now. You move them into any prison anywhere, they're going to continue to be in single cells because they are an extremely violent population of individuals. And we can fix the death penalty. That's not a big deal. We can certainly just adopt one drug protocol. Propofol would be a very good example, the thing that killed Michael Jackson. Give that to those guys, they're not going to have any extreme suffering. It's not going to be cruel and unusual. It will just dispatch them in a very few minutes. We can also increase the pool of lawyers that are qualified to listen to death penalty appeals. Although we have 170,000 lawyers in California, only 100 of them are qualified to listen to death penalty appeals. Really? Out of 171,000, only 100? We can also take the death penalty appeals and direct them to the California Court of Appeals. It has more than 100 justices sitting on it, rather than the California Supreme Court with 7 justices sitting on it. Right there are 3 fixes that could move this thing forward much, much more quickly than it's going now. Every one of the 730 odd individuals that's on death row right now was put there by a jury of their peers. That they were processed through a criminal proceeding. The evidence was found to be overwhelming in each one of these cases. Nobody in California is suggesting for a minute that any of these individuals are innocent of the crimes that they've been convicted of committing. And what it's going to do then is be a slap in the face to certainly victims' families, devalue the victims themselves, perpetrate a lie upon the citizens of California, and create dangers for the real criminal prison population, for the general populations. They don't want baby killers and cop killers and serial killers and mass murderers moving into their cells or into their cell blocks. It's also going to endanger the prison guards. And it's also going to send a message that it doesn't matter how many people you kill in your crime spree, you're not going to get a death sentence for it.